From the real estate, interior design, and design and build experts at the Penzo Group comes a podcast that covers all things home. For our team, a home is so much more than the sum of its four walls. It goes beyond. A home is our sanctuary, a place to create memories, build routines, and shape our futures. Through a series of captivating conversations with guests who are industry experts in their fields, we discuss their lives, passions, and their most personal and intimate spaces, their homes. Welcome to Beyond Four Walls, where we explore the soul of living spaces and celebrate the essence of what makes a house a true home.
Hello, welcome back to Beyond Four Walls. My name is Gabrielle. I'm here with Natasha today, and we're really excited to introduce our guest because she is the co-founder of a company that many of you listening probably already know and love, maybe have incorporated their products into your daily routine. She founded the company in 2014 in a sweet little coach house that's really like just down the road from where we're filming today. And that company is Greenhouse Juice Co. Thank you so much for being here, Hana.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
I did a bit of reading on your backstory, but I just wanted to dive in a bit more. You went to McGill, and I mean, this isn't what you initially set off to do. So how did we get here? Were you in, was it life sciences? Did I read that?
I was in anatomy and cell biology. So my actual plan was to go to med school.
Okay.
Really, yeah, it's a far departure, but there is connections. I love science. I always loved sciences, and I was good at sciences. So I thought, again, if you're thinking of typical paths, med school was an obvious option. Mm-hmm. So I went to McGill, anatomy and cell biology. I graduated from that program, and I took a year to do my MCATs and to do my applications. And at the same time, I was working in this like health-focused cafe. And so this was 15 years ago. And the health and wellness scene in Toronto was very different than it is today. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to even imagine how kind of bleak it was. Like there weren't like plant-based wasn't a word people were using. There weren't gluten-free options. There weren't vegan options on every single menu. And so I was working this like little cafe that wasn't even a healthy cafe. It just had those options. And people would come and, they would get quinoa, and this was like when quinoa was like a novel ingredient, and there would be these options, and people were really there for the various health options and just talking to them and, waking up at like 6 a.m. to like pour coffee and talk to these people. I just loved it. And I, at the same time, was writing my med school applications, and it was like, what do you love about research? And I was like, I hate research. I was like, I do not know what I want to give back.
So you were actually working in sales at that cafe?
Yeah. I was just,
like a working barista?
I was working at like at the counter. And so,
So like behind the scenes knowledge with customers. Yeah.
Yeah. So
amazing.
It was really.
What cafe was it, out of curiosity? Can you say?
It was actually Dish, when Dish was inside Creed's.
Oh,
and it was
like,
it was before Creed's expanded and was like very small. And it was actually like the cafe, and then the dry cleaning was way bigger at the back there. It was so, but yeah, they were because it was like a catering company, they were a bit more forward thinking with their ingredients. And so it was, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I realized that, I also had worked in a doctor's office kind of the summer before. And I realized that like, I love medicine. I really do. I think the medical career is obviously very essential. But what I found is that I was really, what my passion lay in was proactive health versus reactive health. And I loved interacting with people, and I loved talking about the health journey, and I really liked to dig deep. And I saw that wasn't going to be what I was going to get from a medical career. And I was young enough and naive enough to really want to love my job and to be passionate about it. And I was like, this is the time that if I'm going to do something other than medicine, I need to do it now. So actually before Greenhouse, I started another little business called Cafe Shoe. It was actually it was inside of Totem Life Science, and it was a juice bar, and like we did organic food and we did smoothies. So I did that for 3 years, and then my co-founders at Greenhouse, they were living in LA. They knew what I was doing. So I wasn't doing cold pressed juice, but I was doing slow juicing kind of on demand. And obviously in LA and in New York at the time, cold pressed juice was everywhere. Yeah. And it was crazy to think that, Toronto being kind of like on par with those cities, our health and wellness scene was so far behind. We didn't have cold pressed juice, which was such an easy, accessible way to access health, especially for, people with busy lives and, you want to do it all. You want to go out, you want to go out for dinner, you want to have drinks, but you also want to incorporate your health. So selfishly, we kind of got together. I was kind of looking for something to do next because being inside of a gym is limiting. It was like, do I do this with my own brick and mortar or do I do something new? And so my co-founders kind of asked me if I wanted to start a cold pressed juice company with them. And I said, yes.
So how did you meet them though initially?
So they actually were friends. We've known each other since like high school. So we've known each other since childhood. One of my co-founders, Anthony and Emma, Anthony's sister and my sister are best friends. So like when we were younger, I would like go over there and we kind of like would all hang out. And so I've known them forever. And so it was a good.
What was your first product?
So we opened with our smoothie. So our first store, as you mentioned, on McPherson. It was great. We opened with our cold pressed juices. We had plant milks. We had smoothies.
The Rococo was the
go-to. The Rococo still is a fan favorite. So we opened with a much smaller offering, but kind of similar to everything. We had multiple categories. We did some shots. We did plant milks. We did cold pressed juices, but cold pressed juices was our focus. That was that's kind of what we built the brand on. It's what we made our commitments around, our commitments to being always packaged in glass, always organic, a commitment to low sugar. We basically, when we first started out, we selfishly wanted to make the best product that we wanted to drink. So, we drank a lot of cold pressed juice and we'd been to a lot of different stores and we're like, we love this one, but it's packaged in plastic. And for us, it was the health of the planet, but also our own health. Like, what we know so much more about what is being leached into. We didn't know as much back then, but we knew that it wasn't great. Like it's a product that's sitting in plastic, that's higher acidity. Like we're drinking it for our health. So we really want it to be packaged in glass. We had ones that we were like, we love this one, but it's not organic. Juice being something that is absorbed so readily into your body. For us, it was like, if you're readily absorbing all these amazing nutrients, you're also readily absorbing anything else that's being put on the produce before you juice it. So for us, always organic was so important. Commitment to low sugar. A lot of juice companies, which I'm sure you still see, I'm sure you do definitely see today, is that it looks green, but then you look and the first ingredient is apple. And for us, we're like, we want a product that is actually based in health. Like, so we don't want to trick people into drinking something that they think is healthy. We want it to actually be healthy. So we kind of stuck by all those, we've refined them and we've solidified them as the years have gone by. But we basically, we wanted a product that we really love to drink, that we could stand behind, that, we could feed to our future children and feel good about. And that's kind of how we've continued to build the brand and to continue to innovate with products as well.
So how did you move from the Coach House to suddenly being nationwide and then other stores carry your product as well?
Yeah, it's the
sequence.
You're in the US as well?
Yeah, we just start like in the last year and a year and a bit, we've been expanded into the US. So it was, so we realized, so in that the first day we opened, January 8th, 2014, it was freezing. We thought, no one's going to come. We're selling something called cold pressed juice. It's minus 30 out. Like, who's going to want to drink this? And within an hour we sold out. So it was a kind of a very eye-opening experience. We were like, wow, it wasn't just our friends and family who came to this opening day. It was people, like Toronto was on this like precipice of being, everyone was so ready for this like health and wellness to be accessible, to be luxurious. Like,
and Greenhouse really felt like, now when you look at the landscape in Toronto with everyone, cold plunging, taking their, people don't even go to bars anymore. But I feel like you guys really were kind of the first.
Yeah. We were first to market with cold pressed juice. And I think, what the difference, I kind of, before, when we were starting to figure out what the branding and what Greenhouse really would come to be, one big thing is that we wanted it to feel accessible. We didn't want it to feel like something you had to be like all in on, which I think, and which is why we never called it a vegan product when we first started. We called it plant-based because there was a bit of a exclusivity to the vegan community, which I think has opened up in the last 10 years. But it felt like if you wanted to not be fully vegan, but you wanted to like dapple, it didn't feel like you could do that anywhere. And we wanted that to be a space where we could educate people, where people could eat meat and drink alcohol, but then also drink a green juice. And it could all coexist in a really happy balance. And it was not about, for us and health, it was never about taking anything away. It was always about just adding this in and seeing how it made you feel. And, you know, it's like good begets good. Like, you know, you drink a green juice in the afternoon and you're like, oh, I like, you know, maybe I don't need that second coffee, or maybe I don't need that fourth coffee. And like, oh wait, I don't have a sugar crash. So maybe like maybe I'll drink one again tomorrow. And that is like really the way we wanted to build, is really the way we built it. It was, we want it to be accessible. We want it to feel good. We want it to feel luxurious. We wanted it to feel nice. Like health didn't have to be something that you were sacrificing for, that, you know, you had to give up everything and change your whole life. It was like, okay, you can be healthy with these small changes and just adding in. And it can feel good. It can look good. It can taste good. It doesn't need to be this compromise.
Yeah. And the branding feels so warm and community driven. And I remember like the branding looks so different now from what the first bottles look like.
Which is a huge part of kind of like, as like, you know, going from selling out of our own store, one store on McPherson, to being national. It's like, you know, we had to grow, you know, we had to change the brand. We had to, you know, regulations of, you know, putting nutritional facts, all the things that we have to do as you grow to selling in other stores. And I think that, you know, what we tried to do as we did that was stay true to those commitments that we made at the beginning, even though our brand was evolving and it was changing, and, you know, we were increasing production. And I think we've always been really transparent with our community and open with our community. And I think that has enabled us to grow. We've obviously had, you know, we were in the early days, we were actually producing out of that house on McPherson. It was like a 24-hour operation, 250 square feet. So we grew out of that very quickly. But, you know, we now have like a 25,000 square feet facility in Mississauga that's, you know, the highest rated for quality and safety, and, you know, putting all those processes in place to be, you know, to be carried in grocery stores, to ship nationally, to ship internationally. The team has obviously grown. We've innovated in the technology we use. You know, instead of going with something like HPP, which many juice companies use, which is high pressure pascalization to extend the shelf life of their product, we innovated and used something called light filtration.
That's something I wanted to ask about, because obviously it is a very organic, natural product. So how have you balanced, you know, scaling with shelf life? And like it must have taken some growing pains to really figure it out.
It really did. Yeah. So we like, when we first started, we had 3 to 5 days. So, you know, selling in even another store that was down the road was hard, you know, like it was hard to manage waste. So we knew that and we were also selling, our product was $15 for like a 500 milliliter green juice. And we knew that wasn't sustainable. We wanted it to be more widespread. We wanted it to be accessible. And to do those things, we knew we needed to extend the shelf life so that it could be more widespread, and that we needed to bring the price point down, sell more, produce more. As I said, we innovated. We actually got a grant from the government of Canada for this technology that we now use, that we coin light filtration. For us, like HPP, which most juice companies use, it requires you to be packaged in plastic. So for us, it wasn't an option. It does stop the growth of bad bacteria, but also does stop the growth of some of the good nutrients as well. So for us, that wasn't an option. It took a while. You know, we weren't like HPP, and something like HPP or pasteurization, you get like 90, 120 days right off the bat. For us, it took time. It took, you know, we had to research. So, you know, first we got 2 weeks, and then we got 30 days. And then, you know, we're actually constantly trying to figure out how we can extend that shelf life with more natural ways. So using the light filtration, using UV light, using fluid dynamics, it's how we package it in, you know, a HEPA filtered facility, how we keep the cold chain is so important. So there's, you know, it's not a turnkey magical solution. Yeah. So it has been definitely a learning curve. You know, even expanding into grocery stores, it was harder because our product was, it's a product that people know, it's bottled juice, but it's different than what grocery stores
Not
know.
Tropicana.
Yes, what grocery stores know is bottled juice. So even convincing grocery stores that it's it needs to be treated differently. So it's definitely been a journey, but I think we've worked really hard at it, and we've continued to innovate and believe in we believe growth is always possible, and I think that's where we continue to believe in that, and that's what's kind of fueled our growth.
I'm always so curious about like founders' early days. Did Anthony, Emma, and do you guys have like a different skill set and focus?
Yeah, for sure. I think that is like key, definitely is key to working with partners. I obviously had some experience in retail and working in the stores. So I was, I worked in the stores. Emma has this beautiful voice. She actually has just written a book, which is...
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, cool. Life Cycle of the Common Octopus, just like a casual plug there. But she's a beautiful writer. So she was always the voice of Greenhouse. And Anthony, he's our CEO, and he has always had these amazing creative, innovative, big ideas that, has driven the growth. So while, Em and I were working on building like the community and like building the brand and opening stores, and Anthony was working at building our production facility, building up the team. And I think that having different skill sets and also knowing what our skill sets are and not trying to do everything, I think is really has made the relationship so amazing. I feel very fortunate to have co-founders that I also call friends, that I can call family, that that I have 100% trust in. And I think that a big part of that is also that we all believe in the same mission. End goal, the same mission for Greenhouse. It's all about, we're such a customer-driven business. We all believe we want to make the best product for ourselves, we are our own customer, and for our customers. We are, that's always what drives us. So every decision, that we make, even if say it's like, that wasn't my first inclination. It's like, no, that is what is best for the product, for our customer. And that's what we should do. So that is, I think it's been an amazing journey working with them.
Well, I'm just like more curious about it. Like going from being a founder of more of a startup to a brand where you're managing, like, I don't know how many doors you're in, but it seems like it's probably a lot.
It's a lot.
You're like, you have to be a different type of leader today than you were when you were working out of the Coach House on McPherson.
Yeah, definitely. I think that,
like, how have you evolved as an entrepreneur, I guess?
I honestly, I think that it has a lot to do with building the team versus changing, how it's building the team is, I think that is really what the big change is, building a team of people who also feel the same way about the product that you feel, that get what you're trying to do, that have the know-how and expertise to help you get there, and trusting. I guess the biggest thing is there's a little bit of relinquishment of control, because we weren't CPG, experts going into this. Right. So there, having that mentors or having even people on the team who know more and trusting in them, I think that's a big learning. I think that can be really hard for entrepreneurs generally, is to, to give up some of that and to trust in other people. It's like, who are these people that you're trusting in, and build that community of people that you can really trust in to help grow the business and help you learn and grow as a entrepreneur as well.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure that first day of selling out was like an amazing aha moment. But are there any examples that you can think of where you're like, okay, wow, this is working?
I feel like for the first like year or two, almost, monthly, daily, I think it was, so I worked in the stores for the first 3 years, like on the ground every day in the stores.
So we were speaking to the customers all the time.
Yeah, speaking to the customers, building those relationships. And I think the biggest aha moment, I don't know if it was a moment or if it was kind of a series of moments, where it was McPherson. We opened it at that, we chose that location because we're like, okay, our target market will be here. It's, it will be more expensive. So, the neighborhood will be able to afford the product. But it was the variety of people coming from everywhere. You know, it wasn't just a neighborhood spot. It became a destination. So on the weekends, we saw people coming in from Ajax or Aurora and like driving in, and even during the week, like seeing people come from like Queen West. And it was the variety of customers that we got. So we had people who were more, you know, like, oh, this looks like a cool product. Like I saw someone drinking it and it looked cool. So now I'm here. So there was that customer that, you know, that took, you know, we were educating and they were just like, I'm going to buy it. Like I'm buying it because I want it. Looks cool. I want it.
Yeah.
Then there was people who were like, were so deeply, were like, oh, I've been waiting for cold pressed juice. And that could have been for just because they enjoyed it or for personal health reasons.
Right.
Like we had how many people we came through the door in that first year that, you know, were drinking it because they had a terminal illness and they couldn't eat and they couldn't get nutrients anyway. And they were juicing at home and it was a huge burden on them. And they were like, wow, this is now something I can get. And, you know, so seeing that, like that range and then seeing like a student come in and being like, I didn't drink coffee all week, so I could come and get my juice today. And I think it was those small moments, interactions with each of our unique customers that was really like, aha, we do have something here. You know, we're building a community of people that is outside of the target market we thought we would be targeting, and people are invested in their health. It was amazing to see for various reasons, and that was what was the best, was that it wasn't targeting one kind of person for one reason. It was so many different reasons of why people were drinking Greenhouse, and that was I think that like accumulation of all those moments was really like that. Okay, we have something. We have this community of people who believe in health in the same way that we believe in health.
I'm in such awe of that because like I feel like we are those people.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's really interesting to hear that people came from so far. Like I grew up in Aurora and like it's not around the corner.
Yeah.
That's amazing. But yeah, I mean, again, I think you guys tapped into something with it being a healthy addition for anybody, and it's not it can be a part of any lifestyle. It's not a lifestyle in and of itself. I mean, I suppose it could be, but
yeah, it's but it is. I think it's so complementary to life generally, and it's easy. Like that was one of the things we loved about it. It was kind of a no-brainer when you could just like pick it up and drink it and be done. You know, like, and then you're like, oh wait, I just got more nutrients than eating a salad, and it took me less.
No, it's
than,
so
like,
true.
Yeah.
And you on the table here we have, I recognize this one, the fiery ginger.
Yeah.
So one of my husband's colleagues is very much into fitness in a big way, and she stocks these in the fridge, but it's kind of like anyone can take them. So he comes home with these every now and then, and
I feel like I need her name. I need to like reward her.
Yeah, no, she's definitely a brand advocate. But,
I swear by these two because I'm like,
no,
I feel
so
like
good.
I never get sick.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
that's
like,
it. Like they're in, you know, a stressful,
and they're easy.
high pressure environment.
Yeah.
It's not like
No.
a wellness kind of
no, the
retreat. So this is a good little
the fire ginger
addition.
is
the collagen one too.
The glow is really great, but the fire ginger is our best selling product.
Oh,
and
really? Interesting.
I think it's because, well, one, it's amazing. It's one of our wellness shots. Really great for immunity, overall, like inflammation.
Yeah,
you know, full of antioxidants.
But it's
great
efficient too.
But it's efficient.
Yeah.
I think you can feel it working.
Yeah.
And if you do, it's something, you know, for us, it's something that we, you know, it can be. We think of it as proactive. Like if you take it every day, it really builds in your system, and you can really, you know, you see the difference with your sleep, with your recovery after a workout, you know, with your immunity. But it's also like if you do have a sore throat and you drink it, you can also feel it working as it goes down. So I think it's so functional, and it kind of anyone, even if you're not into health at all, you can see the benefit of taking it.
Totally. You have the word sustainability a lot on the website, and that's a word that gets tossed around a lot these days. So what does that mean to you guys in the greenhouse juice world?
Yeah. So it's always been a big, as I said, it's always been a big part of our, you know, from the beginning when things weren't, you know, our mission wasn't like firm or like, you know, at the early days, but you know, as I said, we chose to package in glass for, you know, for the health of the planet and also for our own health. Like I feel like sustainability really goes hand in hand. You know, sustainability today means the same thing as health, you know, because as we were talking, you know, we kind of mentioned microplastics a bit, but microplastics are everywhere. Yes. And it's coming out more and more how they're in everything we eat, everything we drink, the air we breathe, there's literally plastic in everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so for us, being a brand that is a health brand, we're selling products for your health, like not being packaged in plastic or exposing our products to plastic as much as we can is even more important.
Mm-hmm.
Beverage companies are the top two polluters of plastic in the world. So for us, I think that makes it even more important for us to, again, reduce our plastic waste. Like we are over the years, like we started with a plastic cap and we've moved to an aluminum cap now. Even our labels, we realized that there was some plastic in the labels, which we weren't aware of, and we reduced the plastic there. Some of our
do you still do those returns?
Like we do. Yeah, we still do our bottle returns.
Because I thought so, because I saw a lady, like her trunk was full and she was going to return her bottles, and like I remember my mom would, like, she gets so excited about it.
No, so like for us, it's like it's whatever we can do, so for that it's really important, I think, to take as much plastic out of the environment as possible, but then at the same time that's also a question of health. So exposing our product to as little plastic as possible. So I think it kind of goes hand in hand with like our focus on health and it becomes a focus on sustainability as well.
Yeah. So obviously the product line has expanded and evolved over the years, but is there anything new in the works that you can tell us about? Or
like we're coming out with, well, it's kind of like newly launched. So I'd say like the most exciting products for me are like our protein shakes, which we just reformulated. They have 20 grams of proteins. They have omega-3s, vitamins, and minerals. This new line of super smoothies that we just launched in February. They're ready to drink smoothies. They have 12 grams of protein, 70% less sugar than a normal smoothie that you would grab off the shelf. So these products are really exciting because they're very function forward. We've got some new wellness shots coming out. We've got one that will, I think, be, kind of up there with the fiery ginger. It will be like a daily green shot, which is very, very good. So I think there are lots of exciting things coming out.
When you're developing these products before they come out to market, what's the testing process? Like, do you get a panel of people in to blind test?
Yeah, we do a lot. Like, so basically we do testing kind of, there's like millions and millions of iterations of it, but lots of like, we have a tasting committee that, people we know have various different tastes, so that we can make sure that we're accommodating not just one person's taste buds. We do a lot of feedback. So when we launch a product, we ask people, to give us feedback, because what's really, I think unique about our business as well is that because we have our own retail stores as well as being stocked in grocery stores, we have this direct line to our consumer to tell us, like, what do you like about this? What don't you like about this? And then we can switch it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, then we can adjust. We are really fortunate in that way. So so it's a process, but it seems to be working.
So obviously you have the cookbook, which has recipes to the original juices in it. But apart from buying the products, making the juices, what are some ways our listeners can incorporate like the core values or wellness principles into their routines at home without, totally reinventing the wheel?
I think it's definitely about eating whole foods. I think that it's always, trying to stay away from artificial flavors, like reading your food labels, I think is a really important thing, and that you can do really easily. Staying away from things packaged in plastic as much as you can. It's so hard to do. It really is. But even if that's, reusing your glass bottles to put water in it, or, not getting that water bottle, bringing a reusable cup to the coffee shop. Like, I think these are small ways that you can really make a big difference in your own life. Obviously, incorporating, daily shots is, I think, like it has been, I've obviously done it for a very long time, but it feels like a game changer. I feel like I also really don't get sick with like 2 young kids. I'm like shocked.
Yeah, you're a mom of 2 now since founding.
Yeah. So it is, but it's
like,
shocking.
How do you do it with your kids as well? Because I feel like they're so much more challenging.
Yeah. That's a whole other animal.
Yeah. But you know what is honestly what's been amazing about the products, and as we said, like when we first started, we're like, it's their products we want to be able to feed to our kids. And I do, like my son thinks that like a swirl, he calls it like a milk swirl, and it's the chocolate protein shake and the vanilla protein shake mixed together, and he drinks that like every day. So like I'm like, oh, if you don't eat breakfast, like I know you've gotten this much protein. And they love like the lemonades, which have probiotics in them. And so like for them, this is juice to them. They'll drink the good, they'll drink green juices, and they're like, oh, I want that carrot one, and that to them is juice. They also, obviously at birthday parties drink straight up apple juice as well. But it's it's, I feel like that is exposing them to different things. So, getting family involved, like not discounting our children's taste buds. I think that they're like more open to flavors than we think. We're like, oh, they're not going to like this, so we don't even try. But yeah, I think that like getting the whole family involved in whatever health and wellness things you are doing, like if you're drinking green juice, give a little sip to your kids, see what they think. And I think there's like those small things that we can be doing in our daily lives that are
no, that's such a good point. Like it never really occurred to me to give my sons green juice, but why not? Why not?
Like,
they might like it.
They might like it. They
and
might
kids
hate
love
it.
routine, right? So once you start,
they'll get into it.
I honestly think that my kids, part of the reason they like to drink it is because I let them pour it into the cups on their own. Like they're, oh, this is so cool. Yeah. And they love getting the delivery. Like whenever I get a delivery, my son has to be the one to like open the door and put it away. And
so cute.
So yeah, it's all about the ritual of it.
I will ask you one of our classic wrap-up questions because we are focused on a home and everything that means. What is your favorite room or space in your home and why? And also, what does home mean to you?
So the kitchen, for me, is I feel like it's the heart of our home. I love to cook. I love creating. So really, that space is where we spend most of our time. And I think home to me is I think it extends, it's really the community. So it's my it's, wherever my family is, and that extends to my extended family. I'm very, very close with my sisters and my parents and their kids. So, that is really home, having people together in a space, no matter the space, like that is home.
For sure. Well, thank you so much.
And just tell us like where we can find you. So where can we find Greenhouse?
Hopefully everywhere. So we have our own stores. We have 7 stores around the GTA. You can find us in all your major grocery stores, Loblaws, Sobeys, Longo's, Farm Boy, Whole Foods. I'm gonna missing tons of a lot of the smaller grocery stores as well. You can find us online. We're listed on Amazon for some of our products. We have our own home delivery. We're available coast to coast. So we're slowly making our way through the States as well. If you shop somewhere and we are not there, you should tell that store that they should carry us and let us know so that we can contact them as well.
Amazing.
Awesome. Well,
thanks,
you
Hana,
so much.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Thank you.